Rwanda Development Board, Mr. Deepak Patel from TAFI, Travel Agents and Federation of India, Mr. Bharat Shah from the same company, Mrs. Ashok Bakshi, Mrs. Disha Pushwani, Mr. Hamid Beda, Mr. Warren Fernandez, Mr. Jainin Patel, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Banyarwanda, Banyarwandakazi, I would like to thank you for participating in this important genocide commemoration event. Your presence is a very important expression of support and solidarity with the victims and survivors of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi in Rwanda. Your Excellencies, this year marks 22 years after a horrific genocide was unleashed on innocent Rwandan Tutsis, starting on 7th April 1994 and for the next 100 days. Unimaginable terror was unleashed on ordinary, unarmed, peaceful civilians of Rwanda, Tutsi, in a systematically planned, organized, and efficient executed genocide. In the dark 100 days and nights of Rwanda's history, over 1 million people, about 14% of the Rwandan population, were brutally murdered. The genocide against the Tutsi is one of the most horrific, unimaginable, and horrendous crimes in modern history. The viciousness of the crimes committed goes a long way to show how evil humankind possessed by a twisted ideology can be. Excellencies, we gather here to honor, pay homage, respect, and remember all the innocent Rwandan Tutsi who perished in the genocide 1994. By the act of remembrance that we have just performed, and by lighting each candle, we give dignity to all who were maimed, tortured, raped, dismembered, butchered, brutally killed, and left for vultures to feast on. Each one of those killed was an innocent, law-abiding citizen, a son, a daughter, a father, a mother, a grandfather, a grandmother, a grandchild, a neighbor, or a friend. They all had dreams, aspirations, talents, and things to accomplish in life, yet their lives were brutally cut short. By remembering the victims, we give them the dignity that they were denied and deprived by their killers and tormentors. We reaffirm that although they are departed, they are in our memory every day of our life, and we will forever cherish them as part of our family and community. By remembering, we also affirm our solidarity with the survivors of the genocide who continue to endure untold suffering, both physical and mental. We celebrate their resilience in the face of hardship and unimaginable loss. Distinguished participants, the theme of this year's commemoration of genocide against the Tutsi is Fighting Genocide Ideology. The objective of the theme is to highlight the importance of the international community to come together to firmly fight against genocide and all manifestations of genocide and genocide ideology. Ladies and gentlemen, for the sake of clarity and better understanding, allow me to briefly explore the two concepts, genocide and genocide ideology. The definition of genocide is embedded in Article 2 and 3 of the 1948 Convention of the Prevention and Punishment of Genocide. Article number 2 describes two elements of the crime of genocide. Number 1, the mental element, meaning the intent to destroy in whole or in part a national, ethnic, racial, or religious group as such. And the second one, the physical element, which includes 5 acts. Article number 3 of the International Convention of the Prevention and Punishment of Genocide described 5 punishable forms of the crime of genocide: genocide, conspiracy, incitement, attempt, and complicity. According to the convention, genocide means any of the following acts committed with intent to destroy in whole or in part a national, ethnic, racial, or religious group as such: killing members of the group, causing serious bodily or mental harm to members of that group, deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or in part, imposing measures intended to prevent births within the group, forcibly transferring children of the group to another group. A crime must include both elements of the called genocide. Genocide ideology is defined in Rwandan law, in Article number 3 of Law number 84/2013 of September 11, 2013. The law stipulates that genocide ideology shall be any deliberate act committed in public, whether orally, written, or video means, or by any other means which may show that a person is characterized by ethnic, religious, nationality, or racial based, with the aim of advocate for the commission of genocide and supporting it. This law is aligned to similar laws in a number of European countries that were enacted as a measure to prevent genocide and punish genocide denial in the aftermath of the Jewish Holocaust and attempts to deny and trivialize the Holocaust. During this Kwibuka 22, Rwanda will highlight and encourage Rwandans and the international community to relentlessly fight genocide and genocide ideology, because those who perpetrated the genocide against the Tutsi and their sympathizers have continued to deny it and distort the truth about what really happened. There should be mechanisms to deal with those who deny and trivialize the genocide against the Tutsi, the Jewish Holocaust, and other non-genocides. We must also focus on prevention of future genocides or acts of genocide. We will encourage research, debate, discussion, and reflection on the genocide and emphasize the need for genocide prevention through preservation of memory, encouraging forgiveness, social cohesion, and peaceful coexistence while continuing the journey of nation building towards sustained socio-economic transformation. Preserving the history of the genocide helps in inspiring the younger generation to ensure that what happened never happens again. It also helps the young ones better understand their role in shaping the country's future and build a new Rwanda free from injustice and all sorts of discrimination. Distinguished participants, Over the last 22 years, Rwanda has worked to rebuild a new country, accords on peace, stability, national unity and reconciliation, democracy, good governance, and economic prosperity. Under the visionary leadership of President Paul Kagame, Rwanda is being transformed from almost a failed state in the immediate aftermath of the genocide to a modern, efficient state. The country is experiencing social, economic, and political transformation and has been regularly cited as a model for successful post-genocide nation building. President Kagame's leadership has empowered Rwandans to take ownership of the country's development process. The economy has continued to expand over the last decade. Poverty is reducing, and infrastructure has been rebuilt. The country's institutions of governance have grown stronger and efficient. Rwandans are more hopeful about their future and the future of their country than they have ever been before. 22 years after the genocide against the Tutsi in Rwanda, genocide denial and genocide ideology remain the challenge. What happened in Rwanda will never happen again in our country. On that, as Rwandans, we are determined. However, the dangers of genocide remain real, including in the Great Lakes region of Africa, the continued existence of FDLR forces and remnants of the genocidal militia who carried out the genocide in Rwanda and who continue to freely operate in parts of the Great Lakes region with active cells of their leadership in some European countries are a cause for worry. There are many hardcore perpetrators of the genocide who are still roaming free in different parts of the world and have not been held to account for their crimes. The world needs to work together to uproot this scourge of genocide ideology. Ladies and gentlemen, I call upon all diplomats, politicians, academics, members of civil society, and all leaders participating in this genocide commemoration event to reflect on the role they can play, even in small but important ways, to promote peace, love, respect, tolerance, and peaceful coexistence in their communities. It is important that we actively stand up against any form of discrimination, racism, anti-Semitism, bigotry, and all manifestations of hatred. When we look away, these acts become the root that will grow into the evil twisted ideology of genocide and eventually acts of genocide and the inhuman crime of genocide itself. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Now, ladies and gentlemen, after the speech from the ambassador of Rwanda,